Welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host as always, Tina. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. It's starting to get warm.
Yeah, it's been
A little bit.
It's going to be a hot week.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Going to be fun.
Still not weather for the pool though, because it gets cold in the evening. But
yeah. I'm
wishing it on.
I mean, it's coming. You'll have it soon enough, I think. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna go without for sure.
True.
Yeah. So who knows? Hey, last week we just did a fun show of just chatting around, and we talked about doing this show. I had sent you a video
that pissed me off.
That kind of. Obviously, I don't think I sent it to piss you off. I sent you to kind of show you how
other people could piss me off.
Just how bananas
women are towards men.
I think some of that, but I also wanted to really kind of show you both sides too, of like just how TikTok is. I think it's both, because there's guys I'm sure that do the same thing.
I don't know. I don't run into that crap, to be honest.
I don't. I run into it on YouTube because I happen to watch some videos and now it's in my algorithm.
Yeah.
But that being said, the whole red pilling, I've told you about that, where, guys now are starting to, oh God, really just despise dating.
Yeah. I can see why.
Yeah. I'm going to play something for you here. It's part of the video that I sent you. And it's this girl kind of explaining how she likes to have guys, treat dudes. So let's see. I just listen to this real quick.
It's their effort. They don't need a man. Love inspiring fear in men's hearts. It's a guilty pleasure. I don't know what about it just feels so fun and satisfying. But just the thought of knowing that a man has fear in his heart for me is so much fun. Number one, if a man is talking and I don't like what he's saying, I'll be like, why are you yelling at me? And he could literally be whispering. All of a sudden, he's aware of his voice. All of a sudden, he's aware of his body. This is something that women are constantly aware of. Our voice, our body, how we're being perceived. So I'm like putting them in the hot seat for a moment. Something else I like doing is jokingly saying what I want. For example, if I want someone to buy me an Uber, I'll be like, hello, sir. I know you're a rich multi-billionaire. Would you mind buying me a ride so I can get home? And I think this works just because it's like an amusing way to say what I want. And I think when men are around women who say what they want, they're kind of afraid. But because you're joking about it, they can't really pinpoint what it is that unsettles their spirit. And lastly, something that I love doing is literally just saying no. Like sometimes a man will speak and I'll be like, no. And it will not even be a question. And he'll just be confused. And the reason why I think this works is think what Trump is doing, right? Like he's moving so fast that we don't even know how to keep up. We don't know how to make sense of it. So when you're just saying random things like no, or even ill, like it's hard to wrap your head around. You have to like pause and think about what the context was. And that just inspires more fear in their hearts. And I will say the reason why I'm even able to do this though, is because I nurture a very deep sense of community with the women in the environment. So I can terrorize the men because I know the women have my back. If the genders were reversed for a second, these statements would be considered hate speech and we would be banned from all social media platforms.
So, yeah. I don't even know where to start.
It seems like women are just learning to be master manipulators and they're not coming from an authentic place. And they're definitely not in their femininity. Like they talk about men and their masculinity. Well, if they were in their femininity, life would go so much smoother. But instead they're manipulating and they're justifying bullshit that men shouldn't put up with.
I mean, I think if more men are hearing crazy shit like this, that they're going to run to the hills so fast It won't even be.
Or they're going to start treating women that could possibly be good for them bad.
Yeah.
Just because they're coming from a place of being defensive and, trying to protect themselves. And I can't say that I blame them, because what I just heard pisses me off.
Right.
Like, nothing's going to get better if everybody's manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And nobody's going to have a good relationship, and kids are still going to be born into this bullshit. And how are they going to live? Like another part of that video that you sent talked about, how if the mother despises the dad and the kid looks like him, then she's going to put that on the kid as well. I've seen that happen. It's not like it doesn't happen. It does. But how is that going to fix anything in the world that we live in? It's just not.
It's absolutely not. And I think what this is doing for both sexes is teaching them to push each other even further apart.
And to not have healthy relationships.
Mm-hmm. There's this one. I'm going to play this one. I played it for you just before we got on. This is the girl talking about money. And basically how that if you don't have any, women will just leave. And I think it's teaching, for one, the wrong message for women. It's like,
Man does not spend money on me. There is no point. I do not continue the relationship. There is absolutely no purpose that man serves in my life. And the standard is so easy to uphold, because either men act right and start spending money on you and take you seriously, or you literally just go get another man. There are so many men. Like, I don't think men understand, like, the options are freaking endless. If you don't act right, Jim, Tim, and Billy Bob Joe will. And the source of
now, I think what you're going to, by that measure, I think you're going to start teaching men to spend whatever they can, get what they want, and then never call you again.
Mm-hmm.
So women are just going to get used up on a very small amount of money and then get ran through. And the guy's just going to go on to the next gold digger. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it's kind of the truth, mostly if you have money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're teaching,
or that they could do whatever the hell they want because they paid for you for the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's never going to win either.
And if you think, and again, I'm going to say something that's going to sound bad, and I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for it. Here's the thing, though. As a woman, yeah, you might be able to manipulate, the next dude and the next dude, but sooner or later, you're going to run out of whatever it is, your looks, your attitude, all these things you're going to hit a wall somewhere. And then what? Then, you end up, you're going to end up with, for one, either an abusive dude, because he's going to take I pay for everything literally.
Yeah.
Or you're going to just end up with a guy who, literally will end up hating you at the end.
Well, and then she's never going to be able to get close enough to have a real relationship with him either with that attitude. Like, it's just, it's never going to happen.
I want to say something, but I don't know if it's 100% true with women, but I do believe that everyone can be in the situation of always looking for the next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit more with women, just because I think that they see that as you either be good or I'll replace you. At least from what I see. And again, I watch a lot of these things that take a lot of clips and throw them together. So it's easy to get upset. because you're being fed the shit
bullshit.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the more you get the shit sandwich,
when you sent it to me, I was like, human. I was like, are we really even having to talk about this?
Yeah. And I just sent you one. I could have sent you another 5 or 6 videos.
Bless you for that.
Yeah. That are just get even more out of control.
No, it's worse.
Oh yeah. There's a girl, I forgot what she does, but her thing is sprinkle. It's basically her whole thing is just use men. Because that's all we're good for.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And I think, look, we're teaching both sides horrible things. You know, I don't want to say that, you know, because there's men out there, the manosphere, that are also teaching dudes to not be good people.
Right.
So it's on both sides. But I think you're just seeing the downfall of humanity, of people, of couples. You know, I was listening to another podcast the other day, and, you know, birth rates are down exponentially, like bad. Really? And it's not just in America. It's all over the world. Basically, to like right now, I think most couples, and I know that I'll say the half, but that's how they do it. It's 1.5 children per person. But the numbers of what you need to do to keep society going is 2.5.
Wow. So we're a whole point.
Yeah. We're a whole person behind.
Yeah.
And that's worldwide. So you're talking about countries that have, like, obviously no baby shortages, that have babies at will. And then you have the ones now that are just stopping having babies for whatever reason. Younger people now, I think, are being taught wrong. Like, their whole thing is, you know, live through your 20s and then you can have babies in your 40s. And it's like, can you? Yeah. Is it the best thing to do?
Yeah, no.
Matter of fact, it's, for one, not healthy, even though, yes, science is better. And having a baby at 36 now, 37, even though it is still high risk, it's much more likely that you're going to be okay. But I think, look, I had a kid at 30, and part of that was I don't want to go too much past that, because when I went to his high school graduation, I didn't want anyone going, "Oh, your grandpa's here."
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like, oh, because I mean, I remember even when we went to school, there were some older parents.
I do recall.
And again, I mean, I didn't think anything of it then, because I just, you know, we were young and dumb. But looking back on it, I was like, oh shit, like your parents were probably gone by the time you were 30.
Yeah. Well,
you know, because
look at my mom died at 59. I was 40 when she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that is so there, you know, for that doesn't have anything to do with it. I know somebody that we went to school with whose mom's still alive, and she's in her 80s. I would say mid to upper 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's a whole like 10 years older than like my dad was, what, you know, having me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, if we're breeding these people or children or whatever to not like each other, what are we doing to the future of the world? You know, it's like, it's kind of, it's not even kind of, it's scary. It's scary. And it's bleeding into every generation now, right? Because everyone's hearing this crazy shit. Mm-hmm. They're taught, you know, and look, I heard something that I thought, I don't think it was on that video, but I think I had heard something today where they're like, you know, women want a man to support them. Right. but they still want to go out and work. And I heard this one girl go, yeah, he's going to take care of me, and whatever money I make's mine.
Oh yeah, I've heard that myself.
And I was like, are you insane? Like, no, that's not how it works. Not in the real world. You might try that shit, but I don't think that's realistic. Not anymore.
Absolutely not.
And
men are struggling just as much as women are just to make ends meet on one income. Mm-hmm. So, well, why are they going to want to take on another person who doesn't want to help and burden them even further? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and then the flip side of that is if you're married, you're one.
Yeah.
At least to me. Like, and I know that maybe I haven't been in a serious relationship in quite a while. But when me and my wife were married, everything went into one account. Yeah. Like we didn't go like, well, we had separate accounts that had like a very small amount that went into it. So we could, buy things for each other or, whatever. But it was never like, big. It was very small and just kind of like, hey.
Well, and I think that's healthy too. You should have your own as well as joint.
Yeah, I think you should have something for yourself, but you should the massive amounts of your income should go into one pot so everything is taken care of.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think these women are being pretty much told like this man should take care of every single thing. I saw a girl on one of these videos said that a man should pay for her hair and nails to get done for the date.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? First of all, you're going to do that shit anyway. So why would I pay for your nail? You're going to get your nails done and your hair did anyway. Like in general. Yeah. So that would be like, and then another girl was on there and said, you need to send me money beforehand as to show you're serious. And I went,
what?
You're psycho. People like that are psycho. Could you imagine a man going, you better put a deposit down so I show up?
I'd be like, next.
Yeah, we would all be like, next. That's insanity talking. And people are now thinking this way as a way of life. And look, you can't want a traditional man and not be a traditional woman. Mm-hmm. That you can't have your cake and eat it too. And now men now are just dropping out of the dating pool. They're like, whatever. I'd rather be alone and not spend my money on some girl who's not going to appreciate it. And I can just go do the things I like to do my hobbies and golf.
Spend more time with my kids.
Yeah. Hang out with my kids and then see my best friends and go golfing with, whatever it is, whatever your shtick is. Now it's becoming to the point where that's what men are doing. And they're just giving up because they don't want to get caught into the trap of women thinking that they're just ATM.
Yeah.
And
it sounds to me like women are just they're making the statement that men have no value, that they're worthless and there's no need for them. And they're just supposed to buy into how wonderful a woman is. And that's just, and then the women that are talking, I wouldn't buy into it.
I had heard something. So the whole thing sometimes is the quote, what do they bring to the table? Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of women will say like, what does a man bring to the table? And if they're not bringing, financial stability, protection, whatever that is. That's what they should be doing. Well, there was a guy on one time and he goes, well, what are you bringing to the table? And the answer for a lot of women is me. I'm bringing me to the table. And the guy goes, well, what does that mean? What is you? Like, you mean
what monetary value do you have to make my world better? Yeah.
Or just because you're pretty and we can have sex doesn't mean you're bringing shit to the table.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring peace to my life? Are you going to be there when I need you? These are the reality things. Pretty girls are a dime a dozen. And I know women don't like to hear that, but it's true, because you could be stunningly beautiful. And I mean like model beautiful. And a guy will choose a regular girl that makes him feel like he's the best thing in the world over her every single time.
Right.
He won't even blink. He'll be like, yeah, whatever. Because he knows that hot girl, the one is way too much trouble. Where the girl who brings him peace and wants to hang out and go have dinner, next to the lake with a drink is much better.
That's true.
So I think women and look, men to a degree think they bring more to the table than they do.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And men are just as guilty on some things where they're just like, well, I do this and I do this. It's like, yeah, but do you make sure she's okay mentally? Like, and the flip side is if you ask your woman, hey, do you need to talk about anything? Do you need anything? I think women need to be 100% honest these days and go, yes, not, no, I'm fine. And then your world's falling apart, because we've talked about it on this pod a bazillion times. Men take everything literally.
Yep. That's for sure.
If a woman asks me, hey, are you okay? And I go, yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, you don't need to come on the backside of that and go, are you sure? Yeah, I told you I was fine. I'm 100% fine. I get it. You know, if I'm not, where this is where like, there's too many chess games being done. And I'm sure that we did it as younger people too. This isn't anything new.
Right.
I just think it's being blown out of proportion now. Everything is big.
It's super toxic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's no getting around that. I couldn't imagine having to deal with somebody with that kind of attitude.
Do you find this kind of talk going on with people that are around you in the hair industry?
No, because I think I'm at an age now where all of my clients have been in relationships for a long time. I mean, not to the severity that I heard on the podcast you sent me.
Yeah, there's that's ultra severe. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's, and again, if we would rewatch this, I would say no one in that video is over 30.
Yeah, no, because it's just a different belief system. We were raised with men, and we were raised to respect them, and it's just a different culture. It's a different time in society for sure.
Yeah, I heard something where like this guy was trying to say what men really want, and because we kind of get this stigma that we want like a sex pot. I think men want to be in love as well.
Yeah.
Right. They want someone who makes them feel like they're the best thing in the world, and vice versa. Like you want that. But I think now with all this stuff that I've heard, like women, I heard a woman, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but if I haven't, I'll send it to you. This one lady was talking and she goes, it's okay to divorce the nice guy. And I was like, are you insane? Like, think about what you're saying.
You're not going to get another nice guy.
Yeah. She goes, I don't care if he's nice. If you're not happy, divorce him. And I was like, well, what more do you need to be happy? Like if you're being treated nice and things are okay. And like, we've got a level now that is unreachable for men.
Yeah.
And with women having most of the power dynamic on the divorce side, men are giving up on marriage, like to a degree that it's,
if you live in the state of California and you're a man, you're fucking crazy to get married. I'm just saying, like, give up on that if you're here, because you're going to lose dramatically.
I would say most states now, because it's almost all these states are no fault. Any no fault divorce state, men are going to get like hammered because there has to be no fault. Even if the woman cheated.
Yeah.
He's going to get half, the house is going to be hers. The kids are going to be every weekend, or every other weekend.
Everything's
You're going to get hammered.
Half.
Yeah. They're going to take half your shit.
Yeah.
So, or half the shit, right? Because look, both people put into a marriage, but, I think that now it's going to be so difficult for people to get married because men are being taught don't marry anymore because there's nothing in it for you.
And that's kind of true for men these days.
I know. And it's that I see that as really kind of sad.
It is. It is, because if you look at the state of affairs in this world, like, people don't know how to communicate. And now men are being alienated from women, like further creating the gap that's already so prevalent. And it already needs to be handled in serious ways. And we're not. We're just taking it a step further and causing more disrespect and more disarray of emotions and loving relationships. And it's sad. It's sad to see what's happening. And I could honestly say I don't blame men.
See, I want to say the same thing, but I don't want to come off being like the asshole, but it's difficult. I heard this one guy say something that I kind of agree with. I don't want to say that it's 100%, but it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
He said that men have to work 4 times as hard to get someone that's only a quarter of what your grandma was.
What?
So think about that. You have to, because your grandma,
was
our grandmothers, was a badass, but they grew up in the 40s.
Yep.
Right. They were maybe even the late 30s, 40s, and then early 50s was when their best part of their life was, like their 20s and 30s and 40s, like they were on there. That men have to work 4 times as hard to only get a quarter of what their grandma was, because grandma cooked and cleaned and took care of the house and like took care of the kids. And look, we can argue, that the divorce laws then weren't the same and a bunch of things. And sure, but they're unhappy women 100%.
Oh yeah.
Because there were abusive men even then.
For sure.
But that you have to work 4 times as hard to get someone that's not even a quarter of what your grandma is. Man, that talk about just kind of like, because women don't want to cook and clean anymore. They want someone else to do it for them.
I get that too, because I always did the cooking and the cleaning. It would have been nice to have had, like, on a Sunday morning, breakfast made for me. But I don't mean all the time, but once in a while would have been nice.
100%. I won't argue that fact. I think that women don't want to do it at all.
Yeah, well, if they don't want a relationship, they're doing the right thing, because not participating will keep you single.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. I also just think that, like, we have to come up to the reality of, like, couples don't have the luxury of having one person do one thing in the house. Sure. Are there gender roles? Absolutely. And if you don't believe in that, I think that you don't understand DNA and 1,000 years of men and women, and more than 1,000, 2,000 years, probably, if you want to go back that far. Like we do certain things. Like I would never be with a woman who went out and did the yard work. I just think that's a gender role. That's what men do.
Make you look bad to most people.
Yeah. Now, but I also wouldn't be like, if my mate came to me and said, well, I'll go do the yard if you do the cooking and the cleaning. It's like, okay, I think that there is fairness in that if that's what you really want to do. But I just think that it's like you're really messing with gender roles and what it means to do things in the house.
That's true.
I believe that everything these days is pretty much matching. Like both sexes should clean the house. And I've heard women go, yeah, but he doesn't do a very good job, but he's fucking helping. Like, don't bitch that he's trying to clean, but he doesn't do a good job, so you don't want him to do it. Well,
I've heard that so many times over the years, by the way.
But to me, it's like, then pick one. Because if you keep thinking that way, men are just going to sandbag every time they do it until you tell them to stop cleaning the house, and then they're going to go and sit down. Then you're going to bitch that they're sitting down.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? It's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Look, I think there's a way of saying, hey, you know, I expect this way, or I would like you to do it this way. But you need to do these things early in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't, you know, let him do something or let her do something for 3 years and then bitch about it at 3 years. Like, you know, you've been bugging every time you wash a cup, it bothers me. It's like, you should have told me that 3 years ago. You don't get to do it now. That's how I wash a cup. Like, this is just the way it is.
Exactly.
This is what I've been talking about since the very beginning of our podcast with, I've heard people, and it probably doesn't happen as much, but it probably happened in the past. You know, he's a great person, but he drops his socks right next to the hamper and he doesn't put it in. If that's the end all for you, you really don't.
Single.
Well, yeah. And not only that, you really don't want to hear what's going on in your man's head, because he ignores all that shit, picks up your socks, throws them in there and keeps walking. He's never going to tell you. He doesn't, because he doesn't want the fight. He just helps.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, there's certain, like I have a friend of mine, and all she said was, you know, it'd be nice if I didn't have to remind somebody to take the trash out. Okay. That's fair. And it is. If you've made a decision that someone takes the trash out, then yeah, I think that there is something to that. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to remind them every single day. Do you have to remind them every blue moon? Absolutely. But do I have to remind you to have sex with me?
Yes. According to what I'm hearing, that's
I shouldn't.
Right?
I shouldn't have to remind you.
Priority.
That should be something that everyone's getting something out of. Right. But, you know, that's another thing that I hear in a lot of these videos, that women are just weaponizing sex.
Right. I've heard
that. And what you're doing there is a very slippery slope.
It's abusive. When you withhold sex from your mate, it's abusive. It doesn't help them grow. It doesn't help your relationship grow. It does nothing of the sort. It just creates a bigger gap that doesn't need to be there. And if you truly do love somebody, you shouldn't be refraining from things that bring you close, or things that make you happy, or things that relieve stress. Like, that should be what you
strive for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the best stress relief ever.
Yeah. And to me, all you're going to do is push your mate to someone else.
Yep. And
how
here's often have we seen that?
Yeah. And here's the sad part, though. Your mate is going to go somewhere to have sex with somebody purely for the sex.
Yep.
And, and look, men and women have sex for different reasons. I think a lot of them have it for the same, but we are different. Where women have emotional sex and men, it's a physical thing. It's just, getting it out of the system. And we can argue until we're blue in the face, but I think there's a lot in the middle. I don't want to argue those things. But a lot of men that I've seen statistically will say, I cheated on my wife because we weren't having sex, but I love her. Because he loves her, the person she is, but she doesn't want to have sex with them. Where women, I think, when they cheat on their spouse, they do it for an emotional bond. The man is giving her something that she's not getting mentally.
Yep.
And then that turns physical, where I think that can happen for a man. I think that men fall in love with their mistresses. It's a fact, or whatever, because
they're getting laid. No.
Well, they're getting laid, but then something clicks also emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, damn, we're really, the sex thing's great, but I really like how she makes me feel and how we are around each other.
And how she talks to me differently than my wife. I hear that a lot.
There's I got to find this video. I'm going to look it up while we're here, but it's a video of a couple who's breaking up. It must be from a British TV show, but she says, like, this girl is this, and this, why do you want her? And he says the reason, and I'm going to see if I can find it. But it's an interesting thing to hear this guy, because it's not what you think he's going to say. It's not, she's hotter than you. It's nothing like that. Why he's leaving. I'm going to see if I can find it, because it's a really good little video, and I've seen it a bunch of times, but I don't know what to write down on to try to find it. It's so, going back to the video, I think that all in all, we're really kind of teaching, we're teaching the people that we want to be in love with the wrong ideas. And it's bleeding into our generation as well. Men have given up on dating. They don't want to, they don't want the headache. They feel that it's a fight all the time. And I can see why, when the people are being fed this crazy shit online, which is probably also not even real. A lot of them are doing it for clicks, and who knows if it's just for the shock value, but other people are going to take this seriously.
Well, there's a whole generation that takes it seriously for sure.
Right. It's like, man, I don't know. I wish I could come up with a way to block it, like make it not, but I can't even think of how we're going to do it. How are we going to make it go backwards?
Are we going to fix this, you mean?
Yeah, like how?
I think every generation changes. So the generation that's out there doesn't need men, but the next generation that's coming up is believing in more traditional values. I'm hoping that they switch the story. I hope that they are able to go back to a more traditional way and then say, look, like, it doesn't have to be so fucked up. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully, we get out of this. It's like, I remember when me and you were growing up, people were so racist. And then the next generation came and that wasn't tolerated, and everybody had to get on board and start speaking correctly and not acting so acting so racist, and things got better for a while, and then the last couple of presidential terms, it went back the opposite, where people could spew their hatred, and it was I don't know if I would say welcomed, but it's tolerated. And I think we have to quit tolerating this nonsense that people were saying, and call a spade a spade. Like, I'm sorry, but men are not worthless. And that's a woman saying that. That's me
Right.
saying that. Men are not
She's not
worthless.
younger than
and
me.
the
She's
stuff
not
that
skinnier than me. She's
Whoa.
not prettier than
Oh.
me. Then why could
I found it.
you did.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that though, but
Okay.
hold on. I'm going to play it for you because I want to see what you think. I'm having
Technical.
issues because I turned it down too quickly.
So she's not younger than me, she's not skinnier than me, and she's not prettier than me. Then why couldn't it just be me?
Because she's softer than you. She's quieter than you. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't call me an idiot or tell me to shut up all the time. She listens to me. She's nice to me. She doesn't make me feel like the only thing stopping her from being happy is me.
That is the quote of quotes for me.
How sad is that?
It's horrible, but I can see where, and again, I'm going to be the man of the show, but I can see how men can feel like that. It's like the end quote is like, the only thing that I can see is that doesn't feel like it's me. And it's like, yikes. Are we really there that women look, independence is independence. It's going to happen. We're all independent.
Yeah.
I remember hearing something. This is where I think society has kind of fallen off. Women say, "Oh, I want to be independent and I don't need a man," and all this stuff. And I heard this one woman go, "Well, I pay my bills and I take care of myself, and I have a car and I do this." And then it clips to a guy and he goes, "Welcome to being an adult."
Yeah.
Like, that's something to be
That's
proud
the
of.
truth.
If a man said all that shit, they'd go, "Well, you're supposed to, you're a man." No, I'm a human.
Yeah.
Like, stop looking at the small picture and being like, "Well, I can pay my own rent and I don't do this and this. I don't need a man." It's like, yeah, you can say the same thing for a dude. He doesn't need a woman either.
No.
I do my own dishes. I clean my own house. I make my own food. I've done it for 17 years. I don't need a woman.
Right.
Do I want one? Sure, it'd be great. But to think like I have to have one to get my house clean, you're insane. I don't want a housekeeper. I want a mate.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. If you're
And part of
worried
that is
about
doing things together and taking on tasks together, not I'm going to leave you all this and I'm going to do that and
Mhm.
this. No.
Agree. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, though. If you're looking at a man for only being a provider and a protector and not a mate, you've already lost.
Yeah.
And if you think that that's all he's there for is to provide for you, so you can, like, there was a girl earlier in that video. I didn't play it, but she basically said, like, I can take care of myself and blah, blah, blah. And, I want a man, but I'm still going to go out and party with my friends whenever I want to. Like, okay, then that's a double-edged sword. So when your man goes, "Cool, I'm going out today with the boys," do you have the right to say something to him? I wouldn't.
Not at all.
So my thing is, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it.
Absolutely.
And nobody wants, look, we should all hang out with our friends, and it's very important in life that we do said things.
Yep.
But if you're going to be with somebody, and I mean for real, seriously, like, and I'm talking about getting married and having babies and starting a family and being a couple, you have to understand that at some point, your family and your mate are more important than your friends.
For sure. And
But I think
that's your priority. That's who you're supposed to make your number one.
But
That's
I'm
your unit, your family.
100%. But I think that that's being kind of, look, we've talked about it before. I've heard men go, yeah, I can't go hang out today. I'm babysitting.
No, you're not babysitting. Those are your kids.
Yes. Yeah. What I usually say is, you mean you're parenting?
Yeah.
You're not babysitting. Babysitting is when your brother calls you with his kids and says, hey, can you watch the kids?
Yeah.
That's babysitting. When they're yours, that's not babysitting. That's being a fucking adult.
Yeah.
You had them. They're yours. You're going to take care of them. So part of that on both sides is, look, there's nothing wrong. I sent my wife out to hang out with her friends all the time when we were married. And I had a 1.5 or 2 year old at home.
Right.
I enjoyed being at home with my kid. I'm kind of a homebody. You know, I wish I would have went out more with her because things probably would have been better. But all in all, I didn't have a problem with that. But did I want her to go out every weekend? No, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
So think about what we're doing these days. And me and you, we don't have, our best years are behind us. And I mean that in the utmost respect for us. But I mean, like, we're not out starting families and you know what I mean? Like we're not having babies at 50.
No.
So, and so I think our good years are ahead of us. Like we have a good life still, but our best years are, 25 to 35 for being a family person and making a unit and doing something. I think you can be 50 and get married and have a great 25 years, a great 25 years. And I think it's important that you try.
Yeah.
If that's, you know what I mean? I would never say don't do it. But I also think that you have to chase what you want.
Well, I think that every day should be a good day, that you should really strive for that no matter what situation you're in or what relationship you're in. I just feel like you should always put your best foot forward. But if you're just looking for somebody to manipulate you or manipulate so that you could have things for you, or you want to just put people down, like just stay single.
Yeah, I think it just comes back to bite you in the end.
Yeah,
because
at some point you're gonna fall for somebody, and karma's a bitch.
Well, and then they're going to be the one that hurts you.
Yeah,
because they didn't take it seriously from the beginning either, because they saw some sign that was like, oh, she's just doing this.
Well, they saw the ugly inside of you, definitely. Listening to those, when you sent me that, I was aggravated for a few days. I had to talk about it. And normally I don't get caught up in that shit, right? But
yeah,
I was so frustrated. And then hearing other men's views about things from, like my brothers and his friends to like co-workers and people that I worked on to like my own friends, and the stuff I heard, it just made me more and more aggravated. And I was like, I gotta quit listening to stuff Rob's sending me, because I've been pissed off now for days and I don't even
right.
feel like that.
Yeah. And look, I sent it to you because I've talked about it on here a bunch of times that I've heard these things, and I don't always want to be such a Debbie Downer about it, because I don't, I am a sucker. I'm really kind of a hopeless romantic, and I'm trying to keep that faith. Like,
keep it.
Hey,
what I think our generation doesn't think that way to the degree that these younger generations are. There are people out there, and you can find one, but you just gotta quit looking for the broken ones, because when they're broken and when they feel like they have to be like this, you don't want them anyway.
Yeah. And
look, move on quick.
I heard something a while back about, like, look, I don't want to say we're not all broken, but look, we've all gone through things. And I heard this girl talking about it on a podcast, which, how the big thing now is, if after you get out of this, heal and work on yourself and do all this stuff. And in a couple of years, try it again. And the statistics show otherwise. Statistics show the best thing you can do is get back in another relationship, because the best way to work through things that have happened to you is to see why it happened. Now, I think that there's something to that. Like, yeah, should you probably, be a little bit past it? Sure. I think there's something to that. But you don't, if you stay too long on the sideline, you might miss the one good thing.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that there's only one person in this world for every person. There's so many people. You
100%.
find someone that you could be around and enjoy being around, and let the rest of the shit go. Just let it go.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I don't want to think like the way what I heard today. I refuse to. But do I think that I'm gonna be doomed to be alone forever? Absolutely not. Like, there are people in this world that don't buy into that shit, and we just need to find them.
That's a good point. I also think that there's a lot to be said to say, like, live your life and don't be afraid that you're going to get hurt every single time, because it's a horrible way to live.
Yep.
And
why bother if you're feeling like that anyway?
Right. And that's just the way things go. Like, and hopefully, you'll find somebody and they're not.
Hopefully you start to feel better about yourself and you pick better.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that there is something to the bad picker to a degree. But I think that it's something that you have to step back for a second and go, look, we all have friends who have picked a lot of bad ones. It's like, and you have to really step back into yourself and go, maybe it was me a little bit.
I don't think that you should ever look at life and not feel like you had some part to play in it.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
It doesn't matter what it is in life. You have a part to play. And it's up to you as to how you're going to play it and who you're going to play it with.
Yeah. And look, it just keep on trucking. But if you're being red pilled, black pilled, white pilled, whatever it is with these on both sides, if you're listening to too much of men tell you that women are horrible, it's going to fuck you up. And if you're listening to these women tell you that men are ATM machines, it's going to mess you up. It's just not reality. The reality is that you both have to be on the same page, looking for the same thing, trying to be the same kind of happy.
Yep. And that's it.
That's it.
And you will find that. And it's not, again, watching social media and listening to this bullshit over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It perpetuates the bullshit is all it does.
100.
Like, to me, I don't listen to this stuff, so I don't feel that way towards men.
Yeah.
Never
and that's
have.
Awesome.
And quit listening to that shit. Like, quit putting energy into shit.
Yeah.
And all that stuff with those girls that you listen to, or that you made me listen to. Quit listening to that.
Yeah. Just kind of step back and realize that, look, I think that that's a very, very small percentage of people. So don't listen to the 1%.
And if you want to be miserable, you're doing the right thing by listening to them, because you will.
Yeah. You're just not. Yeah. You're hurting yourself.
Yep. Absolutely.
So. All right. Well, listen to us pretty much everywhere. We've been doing really cool. Thanks for everyone to listen. Lots of people all over the world. But listen to this.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And like I said, I've said on here before, like, I think some of them are VPNs, but I mean, we've had like China, like we've had all over the place. It's kind of an interesting thing. You can listen to us pretty much anywhere. Like we're on Apple, Spotify. You can listen to us off of our webpage, off our Facebook page. There's a link. You can find us anywhere. Keep on sharing. Thanks for listening. It's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. That's Tina. I'm Rob. We'll see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.